When was that moment you realized that you're hanging out with the wrong crowd? When I was in a room full of people and I felt completely isolated and alone for some reason. I hate Christmas dinner too. I often feel really lonely in group conversations. I feel like big group conversations are more of a see and be seen thing, whereas if you're hanging out with just one or maybe two other people, it's more about actually connecting with each other. That could be why hanging out in groups feels more lonely. I was actually thinking about this recently. When me and my friend got jumped, and I got on the phone for the cops as soon as I got free, when the attackers saw my phone come out, they ran. The next day, my friend started spreading rumors that I left him to the attackers. I got an ambulance for him and everything. He took pride in constantly belittling me and turning people on me, so that was pretty much the last straw for me. This happened to me, except I was the friend. Difference was though that we both didn't get jumped. I got attacked and my friend ran away, leaving me there to get my ass kicked. He ran all the way home and claimed to have called the police from there, which I found out was a lie. He showed back up in his own car about an hour later and offered me a ride home. During that hour I was in a random person's house getting cleaned up from the attack. The homeowners witnessed the attack and they called the cops. I never spread rumors or turned anyone against this friend. However, when asked, I told the story as it truthfully played out. When my friends of 10 years said to me, "Stop fucking following us," I cried afterwards. I've had that experience as a kid. We had just moved somewhere new and I had finally found some kids to play with, or so I thought, till one day I came down to the playground, and one girl said, "Oh no, not her again." Great times. I finally had found a big group of friends freshman year of high school. I was always the type to have lots of different individual friends rather than one big group. And one day at lunch when I sat down with them, they all got up and left except one girl. I asked what was going on, and she kindly explained to me that they had decided to vote me off the island because I wasn't cool enough. I was incredibly embarrassed and ended up eating lunch alone most of the rest of the year. Kids can be a-holes. When I was at school, I hung around with two guys who, in hindsight, were real arseholes. They always got me into trouble and I never made any effort to stop them or actually see the light, so to speak. More fool me. Anyway, there was this other guy, who I will call Jeff, and we picked on him a bit. For anything really, his hair, shoes, whatever. Fast forward a few months and I'm sitting in a music class. I had fallen out of grace with the two friends I used to spend most of my time with, and the tables had turned. They were throwing shit at me in class, calling me names, threatening to fight me, etc. Usual stuff. Some might say this was karma, and I certainly agree. And then, the most unexpected thing happens. Jeff turns around to these wankers and says to them, "Why the fuck don't you just leave him alone?" As you can imagine, I was completely taken by surprise. So much so that after class I pulled him to one side and asked him why he stuck up for me. He basically said that he didn't like people being singled out and isolated from others for no reason, even though this was exactly what I did to him. He became my best friend after that, and has stayed as much for the past 12 or so years. I like to think he also helped make me a better person by setting this example. When they Drano bombed the house of an autistic girl, I didn't go, and there was no serious damage to the house, but police got involved and there were huge consequences. This was in middle school and the poor girl was scared and humiliated, didn't come back to school for weeks. After that I looked at who I was hanging with and decided to seek better friends. I'm just glad I didn't take part in it. It was 15 years ago and I still would feel guilty about it. I feel dumb for asking this, but what's a Drano bomb? Basically aluminium foil, a cleaning product and a bottle. Can cause burns, blindness, and other serious injuries. Shit, I thought it was on the level of throwing toilet paper in the trees. That's not a prank at all. That's just fucked up. They did not like one guy they used to hang out with, so they peed in his soda one after another. I was 16 and trying to rebel against my dad. I would go out most nights and stay at friends' houses. Not coming home for days at a time. Go to parties, drink, have a lot of sex with people I didn't really know. So, I ended up dating a 23 years old, let's call him S. S didn't really have my best interests at heart. The relationship lasted about 3 to 4 months. In those 3 to 4 months, S introduced me to meth, pills, weed, cocaine, LSD, and exposed me to illegal activities. We had sex a lot, He was always very rough and forceful with me. To some extent, I think I enjoyed it, otherwise, why did I keep going back to see him? We rarely used protection. I was on the pill but had a habit of forgetting to take it. I was stupid. We broke up. I don't remember why, just that I was devastated. A few weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. That's when it hit me. None of my friends were mature enough to give me advice on something like this. There wasn't one person I could think of that I could trust with this kind of information. The man I'd been infatuated with had taken advantage of me. Sex was all he wanted, and he wasn't going to take responsibility for this. I ended up reluctantly talking to my brother about it. He gave me a much-needed lecture, and I made the choice not to continue the pregnancy. He even offered to come with me and then never told a soul like the wonderful brother he is. This whole experience really made me stop and think about the choices I was making, who the important people were in my life, and what kind of person I wanted to grow into. You're lucky you had your brother to confide in. I hope that made things easier for you. He certainly helped me wake up to myself, that's for sure. He was fairly disappointed when I told him everything, he made that quite clear. Nevertheless, he told me what I needed to hear. He was supportive and helped me get access to the right information. He also helped me out a little financially. Not sure where I'd be now if he hadn't been there. When I realized I dealt with 90% less drama while not hanging out with them. I hate it when people cause drama. Source of said drama? When they started making fun of a young lad who had been abused by his girlfriend. It's weird, there's this invisible line in the sand for me. Like, we have laughed together at horrible things like abortion joke, 9/11 meme, and made fun of the morbidly obese, but there's like some kind of cruelty that is just acknowledged sometime. I've left a group of friends before because they were bullying someone, and they don't see it that way at all. When it gets real is when I stop. If I am joking about a video or a racist comedy bit, it's all laughs. But when people really get hurt, especially if you are close, it's over. When I hadn't been invited to see any of them for 3 months, I was always initiating contact, and they all hung out without me practically every day without inviting me. My husband did the same thing. One day he stopped texting people, and wanted to see how long it would be until they texted him. The answer was never. I've been wondering similar thoughts recently. I'm almost 100% of the time the one who texts everybody and makes an effort to plan things. I sometimes wonder what would happen if I just stopped taking the initiative. I wouldn't read too much into it. Some people just aren't very good at planning ahead, or are spoiled by others planning the events. Once you stop, then it just becomes a waiting game between two parties who both want to see each other but is waiting on the other to take initiative. If you plan things and they show up, it means you're a priority to some extent. If you don't plan things, they could just be lazy, which can be a much different problem. They failed to pay rent because they spent it all on drugs. I had one roomie that couldn't pay rent because she spent it all on drugs also. She pawned a bunch of my stuff, games, CDs, jewelry, whilst I was at work, and gave that money to me to pay rent. When I realized I had nobody I could call to help me immediately after I was raped and stuck with the rapist. After I got clean, I realized my friends had only been drug buddies. When they laughed at me for attending university while smoking joints and waving beer bottles. Skateboarding would be such a cool hobby if people doing it were not such a bunch of losers. My experience with it. Fuck those losers. When I moved because of a job I didn't know, and still don't, know anyone here. Found a badass cement park, but when I tried to make small talk and they find out I work in IT and have a career and stability, they act like I'm the epitome of a cop-loving, fun-hating corporate sellout. I like to party and have fun, but I also like not being homeless and starving, and I really like the appeal of a 6-figure salary in my future. Where you at? I'll skate with you. I'm in Aachen, Germany, and sometimes on Sundays I hop the fence to a supermarket parking area and skate alone while blasting some punk rock on my headphones. By the way, I am also in IT, so we are probably some kind of hidden tribe. There was a tight-knit group of people I had started hanging out with in high school. We started hanging out outside of school when they invited me to what turned out to be, a mass makeout session. It was this weird kissing orgy. I was still in high school, with people swapping partners and group kissing. None of them were dating each other. They acted like it was the most natural thing. Oh, you have to go? That's a shame. Everyone give her a goodbye kiss. I'd rather be friends with these people than the ones who made and used the Drano bomb. I had a buddy in high school that told me he had thrown a party at an empty rental property and had left some stuff there the night before. He asked me to help him retrieve it so that they wouldn't get busted. We get over to the house and he goes into the backyard. He slides one of the side windows open and climbs in. After a few minutes of rummaging around, he starts handing me things through the window. A radio, DVD player, DVDs, etc. At that moment it dawned on me we were robbing this place. I set everything down on the ground and without a word got in my car and drove off. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.